Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy that you are here with me this afternoon. The number to call, 585-346-3000. If you want to chat with me. I was thinking about when I was a kid. Why was I thinking about this? I was thinking about mass transit. A buddy of mine was talking about getting on the bus. And I remember when I was a little kid, a very little kid in the Bronx, I actually walked to school when I was in maybe kindergarten, first, second grade, like that. I went to a school, and if you know the South Bronx, I went to PS 156. Don't know if it's still that. It was called Benjamin Banneker School back in the early 70s when I was a kid, little kid. I used to walk to school. But then I went to a specialized school, which they tore down. This was on the Grand Concourse. It was SPS 31. Went to that school, third grade, fourth grade, whatever it was. And that was further away from my house. So for the first time, I had to take a bus. And for those of you who don't know, who don't live in New York City or in a big city like that, very often students just take a regular public transit bus or subway to get to school. That's a thing. So I was probably 7 or 8, and I had to take the subway to try to get to this place, or the bus or something. I forgot what I was taking. I think it was a bus. And back then they had tokens. Some of you who are old enough remember, they had small round tokens. They were like quarters, but they were a bit thicker, and they had like a hole in them. And you would take them and you would use them to either go on a subway or to go on a bus, and that's how you'd get to your place. So my mom gives me one of these tokens. I think it was like 20 cents or 25 cents equivalent, something like that, whatever it was back in the day. Pop it in, head on down there, go to my school. They talk about giving me a bus pass. I didn't know what that was. I had no idea. I'd walked to school. I was like 8. I didn't know. So I don't get the bus pass because no one told me to get the bus pass. So I go back home and my mom says, "Where's your bus pass?" I was like, "Oh, I thought you were going to give me the token thing." She said, "The token thing cost me money." I didn't know that. I thought that you just got free tokens. I didn't know. I was 8. So she says, no. You got to get the bus pass, or I got to pay for you to go to school every day. Or you know what? You just got to walk to school every day. And it was further away. So I actually wound up walking to school almost every day anyway, a little bit longer. That's besides the point. The point I bring it up is during that time, my mom took the subway, my dad took the subway, I took the subway, and there were buses. And there were 3 complaints that we got all the time. Because those tokens were getting expensive. They were going from like 25 cents to like 30 cents or whatever the number was. I think they went to 50 cents or something like that. 3 problems that we had back in like 1972. And even to this day, 3 problems. Getting more expensive. And the MTA was losing money anyway. Always had to spend more money because it was always losing money. 2, there was violence on the subways. When I was younger, it was heavy gang stuff going on with graffiti and such. And delays, poor service. 3 issues that were happening back in the 70s when I was a kid in the Bronx. Well, it's been now 50 years. And I would ask you, what are the 3 big problems that we have right now? It's expensive and losing money. There's still violence and crime in the trains. And there's horrible service and delays. Literally nothing has changed in that regard in 50 years. So you can say, Larry, come on. You're going to tell me nothing has changed in 50 years? Oh, I'm not going to say that. Stuff has changed. And I think that's my point. That is my point. Stuff has changed. We went away with tokens. We got those cool swipe cards. See, no more tokens. So now we do swipe cards. Way better, right? No. Still losing money, still poor service, and people are still worried about crime. Huh. Well, that's fine. We went to that tap thing, right? You tap to pay. So no card, you tap to pay. Way better. Oh, that's going to change everything, right? No. Still losing money, too expensive, trouble in the streets, delays. Okay. We're going to improve the service. We're going to build a Second Avenue line, which took 15 years and was so over budget. I don't even know how much over budget it was. It was so much because they hid all the money. How they did it was a complete disaster. So what happened then? Well, still losing money, too expensive, crime in the subways, delays. Nothing's changed in that regard. So you might say, okay, Larry, no worries. Now we're going to fix that because one of the problems is fare jumpers. So what are we going to do? Well, we took the MTA bus service and said, well, we're going to have people pay in advance and then come on to the bus. So it'll be faster, better service. Well, they were fare jumping there too. Now people just get in the bus to bother paying. The MTA is losing around $800 million per year just on fare jumpers. So the system doesn't get any better. People still don't respect it. People still aren't paying. It's all bad. So New York City got it covered. Now what we're going to do, hear this one. One of the ways people jump the fares, see, is through the emergency door. Ha ha. So we have solved the problem. We're going to install new emergency doors that only give you a couple of seconds and then they shut down. That'll fix them. That's going to fix nothing. And you know it's going to fix nothing. See, I know what you're thinking to yourself. Well, Larry, if none of this works, why the hell are they doing it? This goes back to what I always say, what I constantly say, what the government politicians do so well is they hand out jobs. Somebody had to pull out all the old things that took tokens and put the new things in that took the cards. Then someone had to take away the things that took cards and now add the thing that does the tap. Then someone's going to take out those old doors and put in new doors. Well, someone's got to install all those cameras. Well, someone's got to then uninstall the old cameras and put in the new cameras. Someone's got to do all these things. Well, you know who they're going to be? Guys who own companies who give me money as a politician. So if things got fixed, I couldn't hand these jobs out. So I'm going to keep handing these jobs out. I'm going to keep things moving. I'm going to keep making sure things are broken so that I can pay to repair them, so that I can act like I'm doing something, so I can change absolutely nothing. As someone who I've ridden the subways and buses in every decade since the 70s till today. It's still bad. And we've put literally tens of billions, if not hundreds by now, probably hundreds by now, count all those years, hundreds of billions of dollars into it, into the system. And we have the same concerns, the same anger, the same problems. So you think, okay, well, wait a minute, Larry, you're not the only guy saying this. So we got to have some priorities here to fix this. We do. We are now going to change again. I'm not joking. How people enter the subway and how they pay. That's going to solve it. You know what we're ignoring? Sinkholes that are opening up across the state where cars are falling in. Ignoring that. We're ignoring the fact that here in New York City, there are people in public housing who have not had heat for 3 days. I'm not joking. 3 days. They've not had heat. City housing. It's been freezing here. If you're not in New York State, you may not know it's cold during this time of year. In New York City, it has gone literally to freezing, 32 degrees and under in these last couple of days, particularly at night. It's gone that cold. And there are people in our city who have no heat for 3 days. And what is our issue? Well, if you notice, we have focused right now, Kathy Hochul, she's focused on this because she cares. She is redefining RAPE. I don't want to say the word, but you know what that word is. Redefining it so it can be more inclusive for people in the LGBT community, the GSM, gender and sexual minority community. That's her priority. Redefining that. Critical. While people literally freeze in our city, our MTA system is still broken. People are still afraid. Nothing's being fixed. Infrastructure is still collapsing. But you know what we're going to do? We absolutely, without question, are going to yet again change how people enter the subway. Because according to our mayor, we are winning. You know why we're winning? We have 4 million people now per day on the subways. And you might go, Larry, that's a lot of people. That's amazing. Look at us. We're killing it. Maybe this stuff's actually working. You might think that, except when you looked at prior to the lockdowns, 5.5 million people were using our subway every single day. So yeah, that's not a win. We're still losing money, and we have more. Fare jumping is such a thing that people are getting angry when they pay, because in any given time period, the person who pays looks like the sucker because so many people are just fare jumping. That is how bad it is. You can see this literally. Every major news station in New York City is now playing stories about fare jumping. It is now mainstream. So if you decide you want to pay for your subway ride or your bus ride, now you're the idiot. You're the chump. You're the guy who's getting taken. So 4 or 5 people can just jump ahead of you. This is not going well, my friends. We are trying to, in theory, build infrastructure. In theory, make improvements. In theories, make things better, faster. But we seem to never make that happen. It just gets worse. And more people grift. Grift, grift, and grift. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, WYSL Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
All right, we have Keith on the line.
And truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates freedom. Informed by accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law, that in 2020 there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here on WYSL Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio. 585-346-3000 is the number to have a chat, talking about trying to build infrastructure and providing no actual value, trying to make improvements and providing actually no real value. and just handing out jobs to people to make nothing happen and to make nothing better. The story of New York. Let me grab a call if I could. I have Keith. Keith, how are you, sir?
Okay, hopefully you and your family are doing well. I want to tie a couple of things together, having to do with transportation.
Okay.
Around here, it just came out this morning that people locally are having to spend an extra $2,100 a year because of damage to the underside of their vehicles because of the bad roads around here. So you in the Big Apple are talking mass transit, whereas we really don't have that around here.
Right.
And the commute times for Rochester and environs are pretty good. Rochester is known for any driver not having to sit in traffic. So the big boondoggle for you in New York City is all the people coming together, and it admittedly poor. Probably the answer is going to be technology. I want to throw in that in the last couple of days around here in Rochester, we've had mail people, actual mail carriers being held up and having keys taken away from them that will open the blue boxes. But they're saying that the new technology will come along that will make those keys obsolete. And if they're stolen, the new whatever devices come on replacing the keys, if they're stolen, they will immediately be dead in the hands of the criminals. That unlike the keys, they cannot be used. So tying in with your precious subway tokens, that's going to be the answer. Certainly with AI and all this new technology coming on in the next couple of years, whatever problems you're having with turnstile jumpers or anything else there, the technology, I believe, and you can correct me because I know of your businessman acumen, you are praised, I believe, around the state for being a pretty good business advisor, getting people up and running in their businesses, etc. And this new technology is coming on that probably will hopefully hold down the downsides of mass transit. But in closing, mass transit's never really taken off, and without sounding making this a class issue, it really is for poor people.
So let me touch a couple of those things. Let me deal with the damage to people's cars first. As always, Keith, you gave me a lot to work with. This is a part that you're right, I should have brought up. That is in New York City also. But you're right, most of the cars in New York City running around are actually somehow hired cars, whether they're taxis or buses or limos or Uber drivers, Lyft drivers. And one of the biggest problems you have, you're right, is undercarriages being torn apart by our broken streets. The streets are broken everywhere. And the funny part is they inspect your car to make sure your car is ready for the streets, but the streets aren't ready for your car. So it is a big problem. And here's the issue. The wealthy don't pay for that. And you might go, wait a minute, the wealthy have cars too. No, the wealthy actually have hire cars. It's the actual drivers who are paying. They're the ones who are getting hammered, right? That's a bigger issue. The taxi driver is paying the fees here in New York City. And then outside of the city, you're right. Outside of New York City, Keith, most people are driving to where they're going. And we're not fixing the roads either, right? But we do fix the roads. But I want to go back to the same thing. You might notice this, and many of you have noticed this. You go fix a road, they fix a road, and within 1 year or 2 years, they have to fix it again. You might go, it makes no sense. It makes total sense. There is literally no incentive for them to fix the road in any way that would last. There's no incentive. The incentive is the opposite. Why? They have to underbid to make sure they do the cheapest way possible to get the deal. And then if it's broken again, they get rehired.
You're back on. Go ahead.
There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
I hear you.
There we go. Okay, good. I don't know. I think there may have been some connection problem here. I hope we have fixed it. Okay, so Keith, I hope I was clear on what I was talking about. The class issue that I see in New York, at least, the buses seem as like people think it's like lower class. The subways, they don't. Did I answer your question at least?
Yeah, but now I'm going to have to repeat myself. All these problems are created by the Democrat supermajority, and I wish libertarians would get hep to that. Until we get rid of the supermajority in Albany always killing off the whole state, you libertarians are much too polite. We've got to get together and get rid of Hochul and the Democrats. Until you speak up on that, coming on every week with these scenario problems, that the Democrats are not listening and they could care less about all of us. And you, Mr. Sharpe, never addressed that.
Well, let me address it now. I think I have addressed it, and be very clear about this. Number one, I have said a gazillion times, Kathy Hochul and the Democrats are a problem. And I say it again, but I just add on the fact that the Republicans don't seem to care. They're okay with it. The Conservative Party, that's the party, the Conservative Party in New York State, that's the party that actually threw me off the ballot. They're the ones who sued me with money from the Republican Party. They knew they couldn't win, Keith. The Republican Party in the state knew they couldn't win. I went to them. This is absolutely true. I went to those parties and I said, back me. I'm an independent. I'm a libertarian. 25% of the people who vote for me are registered Democrats. I absolutely pull Democrats into my world. Republicans don't. I do. I said, back me, give me the Republican line, the conservative line, give me the libertarian line, and we can beat Hochul and win. The Republican Party said, we're going to sue you off the ballot. That was their answer. So I am the one talking about getting rid of Hochul. I am the one talking about creating a government that will include people. I am the one talking about localization so that no matter who the governor is, it doesn't matter as much. I want more money staying locally. I want more people being local. More people local means you don't care as much what the governor does. That's what I hope. I actually was running with plans to take power away from the governor. This way, you wouldn't care as much. So I think I do talk about it. I'm just not running for office now. I talked about it when I was running in 2022, and the Republicans and conservatives threw me off the ballot, and then Democratic judges agreed to it because they wrote the laws that got rid of me. So they combined powers to get rid of me. I'm not running right now, so I'm not talking about that. But I will if I run again. Did I at least cover your issue?
Yes, in closing, all of us together, we've got to name the names of all the bad guys. I don't care what party they're in. Name the names of all the bad guys. Let's completely clean house across the state, and then maybe you can get in there as governor.
There we go. I like that. I like how he's thinking. There we go. Talking about that glitch, guys. We fixed it. It's not a Sharpe here. WYSL Radio. 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and the chat
For truth and freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll have cloudy skies out there, temperatures dropping down around 30. On Wednesday, we'll see clouds moving away, a little bit of sunshine. That'll be nice. High in the low 40s. A little breezy. Clouds come in on Thursday near 40. Could be some snow showers Thursday night, Friday morning as a cold front moves through. Temperatures will drop back down near 30 on Friday, and we're looking for fair weather in the 30s for the weekend. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Start something new in 2024 from Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96 in Victor. Jeep Gladiator Mojave up to 25% below MSRP, 13 to choose from. Lease a 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4 SUV at just $239 a month for 39 months. $2,500 down, must be Conquest or returning lessee. A 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. We had connection on our end, meaning, I didn't lose clean feed connection or any other connection.
4x4 SUV is just $339 a month.
Yeah, we are. Oh, I just muted this. Yeah, but you're connected to the other feed, aren't you?
Ram, Route 96, just east of Victor.
Introducing us.
Oh, you know what? Here, let me refresh that.
Advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data.
Yeah, see what happened. You lost connected
and your
to each
customers'
one, and
trust
then that
are
one
on the
just
line.
didn't.
Call the experts
I don't know.
at Simple
For
Tech
some reason,
Innovations
it needed to be
now
refreshed.
at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
An experienced professional with more than 20 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
New from Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters, and the perfect gift, it's the Comfort Buddy, a smaller heater for the guest room, laundry room, or that sun porch. And the Comfort Buddy offers the famous Aaron Moore advantages like no exposed hot surfaces, child and pet safety, plus big energy savings. Here's a bonus: upgrade your Comfort Buddy with an optional air purifier you can use all year. Buy direct and get the lowest web price. Use the promo code WYSL and save even more. Call 800-707-8725 or visit air.more.com.
Picture a child defying all odds and achieving what seemed impossible, making varsity teams after doctors thought they'd never walk, or playing on the playground after a year spent in the hospital. This is the power of reaching full potential, and it happens every day at UR Medicine Golisano Children's Hospital. We're committed to providing every child the opportunity to simply be a kid. But we can't do it alone. Make a difference today by donating to Golisano Children's Hospital.
Open Door Mission's Cold Water House is a residential program where women develop a plan for sustainable living and can receive training in parenting, nutrition, job readiness, money management, and self-care. Learn more and give at opendoormission.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. We are rocking and rolling here, talking about how the upgrades in New York don't seem to work. And even when they don't work, it seems like no one is even paying attention. And there's one of the hardest things, that as we feel often like we're doing something, we don't actually do the thing, right? That's the issue. We feel like we're doing something, but nothing's really changing. That part is really a pain. I want to bring up a comment that Daniel brought up. He says, I wish that this commercial about Audit New York would add that the organization brought its forensic findings to the New York GOP leadership, and the GOP refused to do squat about those findings. That's accurate. This goes back to what Keith was talking about, right? He's saying we got to stop the Democrats. Agreed. I'd like some help. That's all I'm saying. I'm the guy out here screaming, yelling every week. Keith's right. I am. Every week, I'm out here talking about issues and concerns. Keith is correct. Have I made an impact and a change in New York State? So far, no. Clearly, I keep banging my head against the wall. Little help here. I would like a little bit of help on this one. And if you are someone who doesn't like Democrats, if you're either independent, working families, conservative, Republican, libertarian, whatever, green, I could use some help here. So this is my point. Daniel's exactly right. They didn't seem to care. So here's again, I want to give Audit New York some credit here. It is a volunteer organization. Now, they didn't pay me to say this. It's not part of sponsorship. I'm just saying the truth. I've been to some of their events before. They're volunteering. People deciding to put their time, energy into this. They put their time and energy into this to find out what's going on with our elections, have some findings, and say, here's some findings. And the government says, go pound sand. Get out of here. We don't care. Nobody cares. Yes. John brings up, you're absolutely correct, Daniel. Inform them about how Lee Zeldin falsified thousands of petition signatures to snag a third-party line that's nearly impossible to get. Yes, John, you are correct. Nobody cared about that either. So when Republicans are bad, nobody cares. When Democrats are bad, nobody cares. When the establishment is bad, nobody cares. So that's the issue. Yes, I think that's the problem, right, that we're trying to work on. I think that is the biggest issue. It isn't just Democrats. To be fair, Keith, it is Democrats. You're right. It just isn't only Democrats. I think that's the issue. As Dee brings up, Democrats have bad ideas. Republicans have no ideas. She's quoting this crazy guy named Larry Sharpe. I think she's right. That's all I'm saying. Yes. Then John goes on to say, more often than not, change doesn't happen for the better. I can't stress that part enough, John. Very often we believe that change is good for change's sake. And sometimes that's accurate, right? Sometimes you want to get things moving. I get that concept of let's get things moving. I do. The bigger issue, though, is are we actually making it move, or does it just feel like it's better? And virtue signaling in today's world, for a long time it has been, but today's world more than ever.
Roger.
Virtue signaling becomes the most important piece. We're not actually fixing what we should fix. It just feels like we're fixing it. So yes, I get change, I do, but it's got to actually be moving forward and not just feeling better. Grab another call if I can. I'm going to grab Roger. Roger, how are you, sir?
Good, good. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
All right. So to address two things. Yes, we are suckers if people are jumping the turnstile.
Yep.
How we're suckers? Because we're the ones that are getting double taxed. Those guys at least, you know what I mean? Those guys at least know that, what do you call it? Well, maybe they may not know. But yeah, look, we shouldn't be charged. There shouldn't be a such thing as Metro cards. There shouldn't be a such thing as easy passes. You know what I mean?
No. You know what? I got to tell you, this may not sound libertarian what I'm going to say, but I get your point completely. We are being taxed for all of these things and then still paying for it. I agree with you.
And
the worst part is, for you to know this, if you don't live in New York City,
what we got to do
think
is
it doesn't matter because you don't live in New York City. But it does matter because the New York MTA runs at a deficit every single year, and the state writes us a check every year. So you upstate people, you're helping to pay for my subway. So thank you, I guess. At least I'll say thank you, at least. No one else will.
Yeah, so we have to push that amendment, the S2290 and the A2993, so we can fix these problems. It's not going to be the politicians. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, yeah, it's Democrats. Yeah, they, but it wouldn't change if Republicans were in charge. It'd just be so this is about power. We have no power as far as the people are concerned. We will only have power once we are able to pass laws and amend the state constitution and repeal laws all the way down to municipal level. That's how you're going to fix it. I completely agree.
I know you come on the show all the time and talk about citizens initiatives, and I agree. Ballot initiatives, I'm on board. I think it's the right action to do. It's the best chance we're going to have to make change, particularly, and you opened my eyes to this idea, the local level, right? The being able to make changes locally, nothing but good. This goes back to Keith's issue, right? Keith's mad about the governor. Me too. If we had more local control, we would care less about the governor. I think that's a key piece.
For infrastructure.
Say it again?
Public bank also for infrastructure, to pay for the infrastructure without having to create new taxes or raise existing taxes.
You know what's funny? You brought up that before, and for years, I was 100% against public bank. I have moved to be more in favor for a couple of reasons. One, because I see no other alternative. Two, because public banks can, without question, assist local people in growing and support local credit unions, which I love that too. And if a local bank is chartered effectively to where it actually can produce infrastructure, as you said, even though it's kind of making money, it's making money based upon infrastructure, which at least is based on something. So it does have some value. So I have turned the corner on this idea, and I think it could actually work.
You should call up, talk to the president of the Bank of North Dakota, just to, maybe have him on the show or something. You know what I mean?
I will work on that banking piece. I promise. I will do so. Thanks for the call, Roger. I appreciate it.
All right, no doubt.
So, Merlin says, I won't drive on the thruway because of that. Yes, everything is taxed. We're paying taxes for all this and then paying fees. I think we should be doing one or the other, right? Either get rid of all the taxes. Okay, I'm okay with that. Get rid of them all. And then we just pay every time we use stuff. Okay. Or you're hammering us on taxes. Why are we also now paying all these other fees? You're already hammering us on taxes. It's unfair. Again, regardless of your political, viewpoint, it's clearly unfair either way. So, yes. Let me grab Patty. She's up in Plattsburgh. She says, I'm talking about the city of Plattsburgh, New York's lack of public transportation and school transportation for over 20 years. She talks about school buses exist only for special needs and after-school reports. Public transportation doesn't run to accommodate within school hours. It's been an issue for over 20 years. Well, there is one advantage of having the New York City public system. As far as New York State, New York City's MTA is the best around. It's just very good relative to the rest. It's still not great. But again, if I had to compare it to Plattsburgh, yeah, way better than Plattsburgh. But to be forward, as your point is, it's not a high bar, if that makes sense, right? They are over the bar, but not that much at all. So yes. Patrick, who's watching us actually on X, power corrupts. Either creates foils for it or suffer through it. Either create foils for it or suffer through it. This is the issue, Patrick. You're right. However, the less power someone has, the less corrupt they can be, right? I mean, that's not really true. You can be more corrupt, but the less impact, there we go. The less impact your corruption will have. That's a better way of saying it. So I would like to remove as much power as we can from particularly the heavy hitters, the governors and presidents of the world. There will always be local bullies. You are correct, Patrick. There will always be some local guy or gal who thinks her or his power is more important and they're going to go take your stuff. But in my perfect world, and I spoke about this when I ran in 2018 and 2022, What a state government should be about more than anything is protecting the rights of the individual state citizen against the local bullies. If that's what state government is focusing on, I'm happy with that state government, right? If that's their number one focus, protecting individual rights against local bullies, that's your number one thing. You're focusing all your stuff on that. That's not a bad state government. Okay. We're not doing that right now. Right now, the state government is the bully, and all the local governments are just enforcing the king or queen's will. They're all subjects and agents of the crown. I think that's the issue. So I get your point. Less power, though, less need to suffer or create foils. Larry Sharpe here. WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls. And I see you in the chat. I will get to you after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly
I recall years ago there used to be, and I don't know if they still offer this with Easy Pass, you could get what was called a commuter pass, and I want to say it was like maybe $40 for 6 months and maybe $80 for a year, and that allowed you to use the throughway, like 1 or 2 exits from your home exit, unlimited. Do they still do that kind of stuff?
585-999-TECH.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery has
I'm sorry, I just got another phone call. We have Mike.
For $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery in Avon.
In 1926, the Avon Fire... Sorry, he called just as we were chit-chatting, but yeah, my 2 cents are, something like that. Just like you say, I mean, one way or the other, there's probably our tax dollars going toward this freaking throughway. You should at least be able to use it if you have to commute like 1 exit. At no cost. Stand by.
Bring home the facts.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. So happy you're giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. We are talking about trying to make things better here in New York. Left versus right, and corruption and power and all those things. Let me grab a call if I could. I have Mike. Mike, how are you, sir?
Larry, pretty good show today. Man,
oh, thank
you. Roger and Keith. Roger stole my thunder right there, which was but hey, I did get a couple things I did want to bring up. Okay, about the Republican Party. It's better to be a victim. Okay, the Republican Party, it's better to be that beat child in the corner. Oh, I don't get enough money. I don't get enough this. I don't get enough that. Okay, so this way, when it comes fundraising time, well, we need more money to fight these evil Democrats.
Right. They just keep taking money. And let me bring this up. And I brought it before, but I want to make sure I bring it up again, particularly for all the Republicans who are listening. If you're a Republican and you're listening, a Republican voter, recognize that the Republican Party in this state has been robbing you. What do I mean by that? They've been telling you to give them money so they can fight and win and fight and beat, and they can't. The Republicans in this, now hold on, let me be clear on this. Locally, Republicans do win in New York State. I should be clear on this. I mean statewide. A Republican has not won a statewide election in this state in 22 years, and it's not coming back anytime soon at all. So whenever they tell you, give me money, they're just stealing your money. Lee Zeldin raised, I think, like $6 or $7 million, whatever it was he raised. A bunch of it he spent and a bunch of it he kept, and he opened up a PAC, and now he's paying himself a salary off that PAC. He took your money. He's paying himself a salary off it. He just bought himself a job knowing that he wasn't going to win the entire time. I'm sorry. Keep going. I just want to bring that piece up.
Oh, no, that made my statement right there. Hey, the second part of my my call was I figured out a way what we could do about the your transit problem and stall jumpers there. Okay. We could hire all the illegals that just came in, gave them green cards. We could give them knives and machetes, okay, and put them at the turnstiles. So this one, when they jump up, when somebody jumps across, they just take care of the problem then and there.
Well, I that is a way, and it would hire some people. That's true. But I'm going to go with not hacking up New Yorkers.
Well, I mean, the Queen in her last speech said it was the white supremacists that are bringing down New York.
That's true. She did.
So, yeah, she did say there was the white supremacists. So this way, the illegals.
Hold on, you're right. So now, if we have the migrants, who very few of them are white, so if we have them there, then they can hack up all the white supremacists. Oh, look at that! You should be a part of her. You should be part of her administration, and you got the plan.
I got the plan.
I love it. Thanks for the call, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
That's good. There's the plan. It's solved. Oh, see, this show solves all the plans. I love it. Absolutely. That's great. I want to grab a comment if I could. Rolf says, Larry, please pick a ticket, either Democrat or Republican. I will support your candidacy 100% and millions of other New Yorkers. I wish it were that true and that simple, Rolf. I wish it was. It isn't. And let me explain why. In both cases, establishment people win. The parties in most states, but surely in this one for sure, but in most states, the establishment decides who wins. The establishment says in Democrats, Kathy Hochul is going to be the nominee. She was going to be. They didn't even bother having why even bother having a primary? She's going to be done. And she is. There is no way, and I mean zero way, I was going to win a Democratic primary in the state. No way. I could call myself a Democrat all day long, say I'm running for governor. I will never win the primary and not be on the ballot and have no chance of winning. I try to get Republicans to back me. I told you the story. They said no. Their guy was Zeldin. Why? Because he could raise the most money. Was he the best candidate? No. For those of you who were paying attention in 2022, there were 4 different people who were actually running, right? Who really had a shot at running. It was Lee Zeldin, Harry Wilson, Rob Astorino, and Giuliani's son, right? Andrew Giuliani, those 4. Now, if you are someone who wants a conservative, if you like conservatives, if that's who you want as a Republican, if you're a Republican, you want conservatives, no question, Rob Astorino is your guy. An actual conservative, believes it, it's who he is your guy. If you're a conservative, you should have voted for him. I know him personally. He absolutely is. Good guy. Yes. I know all these guys personally, but yes, 100%, he's your guy. If you're like, no, I want a firebrand. I just want somebody who's going to hoop and holler and be like a Trump type, firebrand type guy. That was Andrew Giuliani. Clearly, if you knew him, I know him too. He's a firebrand. Great speaker, hoop and hollering, loves that stuff. He's great at that stuff. There's your guy. Well, you go, no, I don't want any of that, Larry. What I want as Republicans, I want a crossover candidate that could get Democrats too. Okay, that's Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson's a conservative, he's Republican, and back in the day worked for Obama. Guy has the crossover. So if you want crossover, Harry Wilson. If you want hardcore conservative, Rob Astorino. You want firebrand, Andrew Giuliani. Who'd they pick? Lee Zeldin. Do you have any of those? No. What do you have? Most money. So you're asking me to do that in a world and a system that could never work. Right? The only way I could have won the Republican primary is if they actually let me in the Republican primary, which I asked to be in. And they said no, because they recognized that I could probably beat Lee Zeldin in the primary because I'm popular. People know me across the state. Right? I was polling at 6% as an independent before I even announced. Let me say it again. 6% as independent before I announced. They knew that. So I get your point. I'm just saying it's not going to happen in this world. It's not how it works in New York State. The Republicans don't want to win. What Mike said is absolutely true. It is much easier to just be a victim. So they're just becoming victims and going, oh, it's because evil Democrats, oh, give us money and this time we'll do it. But they won't. So, Rolf, thank you for the idea. I appreciate it. It's just not real. The real answer is, if we run again in 2026, which I am considering another run. I'm open to another run. Maybe third time's a charm. Maybe Republicans and conservatives in this state will pull their heads out of their derrieres and decide to not run some sacrificial lamb. But I think they're going to. I think they're going to run the guy out of Nassau County, the executive of Nassau County. They're going to run him. I forgot his name. Says with a B. Some guy. They'll run him. He's an establishment guy, right? And he'll just do that. He'll take your money. They'll lose. Kathy Hochul gets another round to destroy us. Because remember something. There's no term limits in New York State. Yes, I wanted that also. No term limits. Her Majesty, Queen Kathy, can rule over us for decades. Let me say it again. I know some of you just threw up, but doesn't matter. It is true. If we don't change this system and do something and get somebody in there, to Keith's point, she can rule over us for decades, and nobody will stop her. Nobody will. Nobody will stop her. She will just run forever. Republicans are not here to save you. They will not save you. It will take a third party. It will take an independent voice to save this state. I hope that voice is mine. I hope it is mine. It may not be mine, but it will be an independent voice, or it will not be it at all. It's not how it works. It just isn't. So I know I sounded kind of bad, but at least there is a plan. There absolutely is, can be a plan. Anyway, Dave says, what do I have to ask me in the primary? Because I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian. That's the reason. And I'm a proud libertarian, guys. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will be on again Thursday night with a person from Brooklyn, believe it or not, who's making weapons. Have a great day, guys. I will see you all very soon.